Some Miami Heat secrets may have been revealed by the Miami Herald's Barry Jackson. This is the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff. He dropped an article asking and answering 15 questions. He's doing it in two parts. And in the first part, he did talk about a lot what happened in the offseason and what the Heat are expecting this upcoming year. And I wanted to talk about it and react to it because I found some of the things he had to say very intriguing. But we are 1 week away from Miami Heat training camp beginning in the Bahamas. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're very close to 14K subscribers for Tyler Hero. Hit that sub button because we're dropping daily content and we'll have you covered on everything starting the Miami Heat leading up to the season. All right, the first intriguing note that we need to talk about is that there really wasn't any, trade option for the Miami Heat in this offseason. A lot of people, including me, wanted the Heat to make a move to shake up this roster, but evidently they did not, and it might be because, well, there was nothing out there. From all indications, Miami didn't aggressively pursue Atlanta's Trae Young and hasn't been inclined to trade for Pelicans Brandon Ingram and pay him the max contract he's seeking. Utah wanted a mother lode of assets for Lauri Marakkanen, and the Heat wasn't interested in that either. And he also went on to talk about how it was a relatively quiet offseason just in general on the trade market. When you think of all the players that actually switched teams, it was really only a pair. You saw Mikal Bridges go from Brooklyn to New York, and then you saw DeJounte Murray go from Atlanta to New Orleans. So it's not like the Heat missed out on some big-time trade piece like a Damian Lillard from a year ago or Donovan Mitchell. They all stayed put. There wasn't game-changing players moved. And I wouldn't even consider Mikal Bridges a game-changer. He's a very good basketball player. There's no debating that. But 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. And that's kind of where I'm at with the situation. Sure, maybe Brandon Ingram would upgrade this roster. Sure, I think Trae Young would be a good move. But it's obvious that the Miami Heat have no want or need for Trae Young. And Lauri Marakkanen would have been cool, but he ultimately signed an extension. And I'll say this on this situation. If there's nothing there, do not force a move for the sake of making a change to the roster. Yes, we wanted change. But if there was players out there that are not available, or if there are players out there that are available, but the teams are just asking for way too much, a la Trae Young, a la Lauri Marakkanen, a la Brandon Ingram, well, then maybe it's just best case scenario to stay put, keep your assets, and maybe cash them in at a later date and see what you have on your roster right now. I am okay, and I'm at peace with the situation now going into training camp that Miami did not make a move this offseason because I just simply don't think there was a move to be had, and Barry Jackson kind of confirmed that. But let me know what your thoughts are on the matter. Are you upset at the moves being made by Miami, or lack thereof, if you will? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Another interesting note that we had to talk about. The Heat aren't really concerned about Jimmy Butler. I mean, I have been. There's no denying that. The superstar forward for Miami is entering the final guaranteed year of his contract, player option next season. Miami did not give him his 2-year Supermax extension that he wanted and was seeking this offseason. Now, he could leave in free agency this upcoming year, but here are the reasons why Miami is not concerned about this, according to Barry Jackson. Well, there's no team out there in free agency next year that can offer him the Supermax contract. There are only 2 teams that could potentially come available to do so. Brooklyn could make a couple roster moves and have the Supermax, but we've talked about this in the past as well. Even if they are the only team to offer Jimmy that 2-year, $113 million Supermax extension, why would Butler go there? I am not concerned about him going to Brooklyn because they are not in any mode to compete right now, and why would Jimmy end his career on a team that isn't going to come close to sniffing the postseason? Another team is the Houston Rockets. Now, they would have to decline the player option, or decline the team option, I should say, for Fred VanVleet, which is $44.3 million. And even if they did that, they wouldn't even have the full Supermax. They'd have close to it, but not the full Supermax extension. So there aren't teams out there that really are pining to get Jimmy Butler in free agency. It would have to be via a sign-in trade. And that's why Miami isn't really concerned in this article from Barry Jackson, because if they happen to want to part ways in the offseason, which Miami doesn't have any indication of wanting to do that. They hope Jimmy balls out this season, and then they just give him the 2-year Supermax extension due to bird rights. But if a sign and trade is the only possible option in this free agency, well, Miami's going to get at least some decent return, whether it be draft picks, whether it be a player that is young and up and coming, or maybe an all-star caliber player that just isn't at the All-NBA level that Jimmy Butler is at. So there's a lot of different avenues that this Jimmy Butler situation could go down, whether it be a sign trade in the offseason, him re-signing on a 2-year deal, or being traded in the offseason or in the deadline, But there is one thing that is clear, at least up to this point. The Heat are not concerned about losing Jimmy Butler for absolutely nothing, and that is a positive thing to hear if you are asking me. All right, we got one more thing to break down, but we do have to show this Miami Heat hat because the Heat season is just around the corner, and I think you should be representing Miami in every single way possible, this hat being one of them. I'm a hat person. If you're a hat person, this one is as good as it gets. It's adjustable. If it's any head, size, shape, whatever. It's got a really nice two-tone cream red color, double logo on the side and that front. I love this hat, and it's $10 off. Yes, you heard that correctly. Usually $33, only $23 right now when you go to chatsports.com/Heat hat. Take advantage of the deal. Link's going to be in the description and comments of today's show. Not going to be there for that much longer, so get yours today. All right, the final segment that we want to talk here, no chemistry issues for this Heat roster, which is a legit concern. And I've said this in the past, that this is going to be year 6 of Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. And when you have your core together this long, a.k.a. Duncan Robinson could be thrown in that mix too, there could be some corrosion in terms of your relationships. You just don't see eye to eye. You just don't have that same fire as teammates anymore. But that isn't a concern, according to Barry Jackson. He says that there's no internal chemistry problem or some intangible issue that makes the Heat feel compelled to shake up the roster unless Miami believe it's upgrading. And I said this was a concern of mine. It's why I threw out the idea of trading for Kyle Kuzma so often. I think him and Tyler Hero on the same level of NBA players, same tier, if you will. But with Kuzma's contract ascending, Hero's being a little bit more expensive, it might be advantageous for Miami to trade Hero to Washington for Kuzma to shake up the roster, bring in new energy and vibe into the locker room, and shed the money. But if there is no concern about the chemistry between the key players in Miami, then I understand the Heat not making a lateral move like that in Kyle Kuzma. So that is telling to me in a lot of reasons. And if these players are still getting along, they still enjoy playing with each other, they're still having fun off the court and not just on the court, then that is a good sign going forward, and that this Heat team might be able to rebound in this regular season and have a better regular season than they have had over the past couple of years, where they finished in the 8th seed in back-to-back years. Obviously, they made the run to the finals, and then last year they got bounced in the first round. It's all about staying healthy with this Heat team. Everyone's healthy right now. Duncan, Terry, Tyler, Jimmy, Bam. How long can it stay that way? Hopefully longer than the past 2 seasons. Rate the Miami Heat roster for me before we head out of here on today's show. Scale of 1 to 10, no rookie scores. Drop a decimal for me down in the comment section on how you rate this roster from top to bottom. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we're dropping daily content here at the Heat Report. I'm Nic Rohloff. And, well, we're 2 or 3 weeks away from preseason getting underway in mid-October. So subscribe because watch parties are almost here, and we go live for almost every single Heat basketball game during the football season. And when football season ends, well, we're live for every game. So join the channel.